everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod. Joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Tuesday, ready to do some podcasting. Find us where you find podcasts. Search the Black Guy Who Tips. Live tickets are still on sale for our live show coming up September the 9th, 3 p.m. Virtual tickets, in-person tickets. Go get you some. We'd love to see you there. It's going to be a nice, intimate occasion, and we appreciate the support and the love. You know, we're going to have like a photographer now. I paid for the photographer, so y'all got to show up, okay? It's a lot of money.
I'm trying to tell you, y'all better come get these pictures taken.
This isn't just like a cousin with an iPhone. Like, this is a real professional person that's
think I'm going to bring out them lenses.
Showing up and giving us 2 hours of their time.
Come on.
We would like y'all to, come out and help us look good. So we can have promotional pics and people be like, it be lit when they do stuff. I'm going to be at the next one. You know,
we don't want to be pictures of us.
Yeah, we got to have that. Matter of fact, I might make them take pictures of us. Maybe that's what we'll do too. We'll get some headshots. We're going to make them do all the work. Okay. They charging. I don't know if they taxing now. I don't know if y'all paid for no photographer before.
Them rates ain't no joke.
Them rates is there. They out there.
Especially the professional ones. This ain't your cousin. You can.
Yeah, that's
you
what I said.
A cheap meal to and be like, all right, I got you, homie.
All right, so we're gonna do that. Also, we're gonna get into some podcasts and stuff. The official weapon of the show is
folding chair.
Folding chair.
And the unofficial.
We know. We heard the silence. And the unofficial sport.
Bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme. And we'll get into our sponsor because I believe today's show is actually sponsored. So we'll get into our sponsor later in the show. That's called a tease. That's how we do it over here at the professional podcast. Okay. I don't know what y'all been doing at y'all other little shows, but we don't do that here. Okay. But yeah, we do have plenty of stuff to talk about. Where should we start? I guess start with just some news. We can just start with some regular ass everyday news. Too long. I was bopping. All right, let's get to the news. Someone asked, would there be a meet and greet? Not officially like the last time we did it, where we charged extra and then we signed posters and took pictures with everybody.
Right.
We had like a photographer to help with all that stuff. No, this is time they asked us, so we didn't hire an event planner and all the stuff and the people that it takes to do all that.
Right.
But after the show, we might step outside and just thank everybody for showing up. And if y'all want to get a selfie or something, we can do it then, But yeah, we thinking about y'all. We appreciate y'all. This will mean a lot to us. The people that make it out to this one, y'all the real heroes. I know the tickets
the real MVPs.
The tickets ain't that expensive, but I just know that it's not as much notice as before, and it's a Saturday. I know people be having plans and stuff, so it means a lot to us that you would even come out.
Yes.
Billy McFarland. Do you know that name, Karen?
I was about to say, who?
Fyre Fest. Do you know that name?
Yes, I do. I know what I remember the Fyre Fest.
Fyre Fest is back. Billy McFarland ready to do Fyre Fest II. Tickets already on sale, sis.
What?
Yep. Trying to go.
Is Ja Rule involved again?
They don't say, but the new Fyre Festival.
McFarland, y'all ready to get a slice of bread and a carrot stick?
Mm-hmm. He doesn't appear to have the big influencers and celebrity backing like he did the first time.
Of course,
no Kardashians or Jenners telling you to go out there. It seems that he's the only one promoting the concert as of right now. It's scheduled for December 6, 2024. So you got over a year. It will allegedly include the main show, Fyre pop-ups, and the Fyre crew community. There's still a community? How you still got a community?
I guess everybody got a hive, apparently, no matter what it is. Even if it's a small hive, you to make a hive, apparently.
Who the fuck would? I guess there's some people just out there right now, signing up for this bullshit.
And who are the actors going to perform?
Take my money, my house and my car.
Somebody said that when they seen the prices. So yeah, while the ticketing website doesn't provide many details, oh my God.
Of course not.
This motherfucker better not have sold one ticket.
Because it's not legit.
I mean, after what you did the first time, bro, I need all the details.
Nigga, they made 2-3 different companies made fucking documentaries on this bullshit.
I need the details, like what you gonna eat that morning. Like
right.
not what I'm gonna eat. Like, of course I want those details, but I want extra details, like, what kind of toothpaste do you use, Billy McFarland, every morning? I need to know. Okay, I need to know intimate things about you that I've never asked anybody else, because I don't trust you.
And shout out to Balls Deep. This is when you ask the questions Justin asked.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to run your credit. I can't just believe this gonna happen. The tickets are now on sale. How much do you think they are, Karen? For a ticket?
$1,500.
$1,500. Okay, Karen. I see you still think you got some credibility. $499 for the first 100 buyers. Then it's gonna go up to the next 400 will be priced at $800, and then for the Fyre starters, I'm just saying, Basa and Tone, y'all, Kenny, y'all might want to holler at a lawsuit. Y'all might want to holler at a lawsuit. But for the Fyre starters package, so they got the Fyre 400.
Not the Fyre 400. We got degrees of the Fyre.
The 500, right? Juvenile. You might want to get on this. Fyre 400 will be $799. Fyre starters will be $1,199. And the most costly access will be $8,000 for last chance tickets. Yep. The website did not list which artists are performing.
Child, because ain't nobody gonna be there.
It's gonna be the band from Chuck E. Cheese.
Child, they'll come out all robotic and shit.
It's gonna be.
Child, y'all gonna get some holograms. Ain't nobody gonna be there.
It's gonna be that band Jabba Jaw was in. Y'all, it's gonna.
Yes, Jabba Jaw.
It's gonna be a bunch of fictional bands.
Come on, child.
It's not gonna be no real bands.
It's gonna be the background music for Scooby Doo.
Jim and the holograms gonna be there.
Yes, come on.
Cold Slither gonna be opening.
The Misfits gonna be there.
Right. Y'all, I don't know what the fuck. Ain't no real band about to do this shit, because that's the other thing. He didn't pay the acts either. So the acts, like, why would the acts sign up for any of this shit? They need their money. That was like a big part of why people didn't show up. Is like, we still ain't got our money. You got us scheduled for this event. Fuck it. We're not showing up. Sorry, fans. This motherfucker is shady. We don't perform for free.
We do not perform for free.
Y'all gonna be staying in FEMA tents and shit. Cause you remember last time we had people staying in hurricane tents and fucking eating cheese sandwiches and living on rafts and shit. Like, this is okay. All right. The man, I'll tell you what though. You know what it makes me think about?
What?
It makes me think about this.
With the right white man, we can do anything.
Ah, yes, you can.
The right white man, you can literally do anything, because what else is making you sign up for this if it's not just, I believe in him because he's white?
Yeah, because don't nothing else make no sense. There's nothing else this man has done to make you think that it's going to be legit, that it's actually going to happen, that you're going to get your money's worth. I don't understand.
Why would Billy lie to us again?
Again.
Speaking of white nonsense, a hot air balloon pilot with cocaine in his system made a mistake that caused a fatal crash. I say the mistake was doing the cocaine and trying to pilot the balloon, but maybe it's just me.
Right? Okay.
This happened in 2021 in New Mexico. It killed all 5 people on board.
Okay.
Yeah. He hit power lines and crashed into a busy intersection. They found no evidence of mechanical malfunctions or failures.
Well, I mean, you into the crowd. That mean cars and shit was flying around while they was going down.
The amount of cocaine and marijuana found in the system suggested recent use that would have likely had impairing effects that contributed to the crash. Yeah, witnesses also told investigators the balloon's envelope separated from the basket after hitting the power lines and floated away. It was found south of the crash site.
God damn.
This sounds like a horrible way to die.
Yes.
Like, just, oh my goodness.
When you're doing important shit, don't do drugs.
The balloon crash was the deadliest in New Mexico's history, the second deadliest in the U.S. since 2016. Now, I got to say, that seems like a very specific death toll to be counting.
I'm about to say, well, that shit was the record breaker, and I mean, like, damn. I mean, since 2016, so that means back in the day, people were dropping like flies, apparently.
I just assumed that the number one is the Hindenburg, which was not a balloon, but like a what do you call those fucking
like
things?
A stadium balloon thing over the football
like a
stadium.
Goodyear blimp looking situation.
Yeah,
I assume that's number one, but then I feel like after the Hindenburg, all of them gonna be like 4 people died, 5 people died, 6 people died. I don't think you're gonna get. I mean, how deadly can a hot air balloon crash be? Unless you crash into something. Like,
yeah.
if you had a hot air balloon that crashed into a nuclear plant,
that's different.
then I guess that counts, but it feel like it shouldn't count
right.
as much.
I mean, are you counting the people on the ground? I mean, because you people in the balloon, but it sounds like you hit traffic. So if I'm driving and a balloon falls in front of me and I died, am I counting in the balloon total? I should be counting in the balloon total. That don't make sense.
Right. People are losing more money to scammers than ever before.
I've been a lot of the documentaries you've been watching has been, they talked about scamming, and also particularly with online and the way they word stuff, people are more apt to click on things more. Even though you have people that are, tech savvy and all that stuff, the technology has allowed them to be better and smarter, and everybody thinks that they're above the rules when it comes to being scammed. Everybody goes, I'm special, I'm intelligent, you never get me. But too many motherfuckers getting scammed for everybody to be above getting scammed. That don't make sense.
Well, I think it's kind of two things happening at once. It's like scammers have improved a lot. And with the hacking and knowing your information, they've added a level of sophistication that I think scammers didn't always used to have. So like, they know we're digitally tracked. If they have your phone number, they know your address. They have your address, they know your name. And if they know like where you bank or something, I got scammed once where they spoofed my bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wasn't thinking. A lot of shit was happening at the same time. I thought it was an emergency call from my bank, and it was like almost as soon as I hung up, I went, "Oh, wait a minute,
that don't sound right.
That wasn't right."
Because and that's funny. The way the bank works is like they normally don't call you. They normally send like letters or like through the mail. Like,
of course,
old school shit.
Your bank sends you a text or email all the time telling you don't do this and don't do that, but it does until it's happening. You don't think about it,
right? And also the thing about scamming, a lot of scamming don't get reported. Because everybody feels like I'm stupid, I'm dumb. Why did I click on that? When people actually need to report on this shit. And I do understand it's a lot of shame that comes with being scammed. So a lot of people are being scammed left and right all the time, but nobody is saying that they're being scammed, and everybody thinks they're above being scammed. Well, then it's hard to get down to the root and solve the problem when everybody thinks that they're so super special and calling you stupid and calling you an idiot, and then you feel stupid and you feel dumb. And okay, well then nothing gets solved, but then these people just walk off with the money and everybody goes, it's okay, and it's not okay.
And they have a new thing now where they take this, like they can take people's voice and mimic the voice.
Yes.
Call your parents. So like my parents, I mean, our fucking voices are on the internet. Someone could probably call our parents and pretend to be us or something. And they're like, we got them. They kidnapped. You better send us some money and all this shit. And it's just to scam you. But yeah, it's happening more, I think, also because it's happening more. Like, not like more people getting scammed because it's easier to scam, to reach out and have a wide reach via the internet and these cell phone, like, automated calls and all that stuff. In 2022, reported consumer losses to fraud total $8.8 billion, which is a 30% increase from 2021. 30% in a year.
Yeah, that's a lot. And like I said, the thing is the stigma associated with it, the shame associated with it. And the thing is, I feel about this the same way I feel about the women that get scammed out of their money, particularly the older women that get scammed out of their money. Like, I feel like, hey, nobody's really talking about this shit, but everybody like, oh, you stupid. I was like, well, too many people are falling for this particular trick, for it to be so simple, like, and I understand that some scams are particularly like with a lot of the ones that's like where the person is lonely and all that stuff. Like, I understand it's more to it than just a quote unquote scam. Like, sometimes the people are getting something out of it. But even with that, I look at that the same. I know a lot of people they just don't. No, I'm like, no, they are scamming people. People need to talk about it. People need to, it don't matter your degree. It don't matter your education. It don't matter none of that shit. You can still get got. And everybody feel like, oh, I just got got. And they just, and then there's no repercussions. The laws are slow behind it. How do you get your money back? Like, how do you recoup your shit? It just so happened that ours happened to be with the bank, and the bank was like, hey, y'all, we know they doing this. But what happened if you hit a situation where they be like, the money just gone?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then people will have a fucking fit.
Yep, I agree. Also, the biggest losses were investment scams and cryptocurrency schemes. Another thing that boomed during the pandemic. Once again, very unscrupulous people. Even cryptocurrency, as it's supposed to work, can be unregulated and unscrupulous.
Right.
Think scammers get a hold of this. They know it's very new technology, new ideas to people who've never invested before, young people putting their money in this stuff. People, every commercial was encouraging you're a fucking coward if you don't put your money in this shit. It's Matt Damon calling you a pussy on the Super Bowl commercial. You're like, what the fuck did I do? What are you doing, buddy? It's like, you a bitch? You scared to put some money in crypto? And then I'm not no bitch. And then you put the money in crypto and now it's fucking gone because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So, I think it makes sense that it jumped up so much in 1 year, because to just say it jumped up over, say, the last 10 years, okay, to 30% in 1 year. Do you understand how much that to me, that makes sense during the pandemic. Investment scams, everyone was playing the stock market and meme stocks and shit. And then cryptocurrency, Dogecoin and all that shit, which is all a fucking scam in the first place.
Right.
And I know some of you niggas don't think it's a scam. Y'all the motherfuckers that either be scamming people or the people that get scammed. Don't write into me. I'm just gonna hurt your feelings. And then it's gonna be weird. So just,
right.
You don't like it, too bad. Deal with it.
Right. And it's, and for me, it's very frustrating because, like I said, technology has gotten better, particularly with anytime the technology increases, the scammers get better. Because before, like, for me, it's sad, but if you call me and our picture don't pop up and your name don't pop up, I don't answer the phone. I send you straight to voicemail. Fuck that. And I know some of the shit be important. Only time I pick up the phone is if I know I have like a delivery or something and I know it's about time for them to get there. I'll pick up them because I need to talk to them. But I've hung up on them and then they leave a message and I'll call back, because I'm like, for me, I'm like, I don't want to be bothered with no bullshit. I pick up the phone and then next thing you know, I'm getting a strange text. Then next thing you know, you don't hack some shit. And for me, it's a very frustrating process. And so I think the technology has gotten better, and like you said, a lot more. The scamming has turned to other avenues outside of cell phones because they know that most people don't do their cell phones. I remember at one company I was working with, you know, them wellness programs they have everybody assigned for. They was like, yeah, we got the wellness program. They had to send out a mass email telling people to pick up their phones. Like, bitch, I'm not picking up my phone. I don't know who that is. So what was happening? They was calling people for the wellness. People just was not answering. It was like, yeah, it was like, because and my thing is, I fought the federal government for this. When this bullshit first started and they started bombarding people's personal stuff, because before you couldn't do cell phones, before it used to be house phones. And then they started doing cell phones. The federal government should have stepped in and put a lock on that bullshit, but they didn't. And so now you have people like me who don't pick up their phone no matter who the fuck it is. That's not always safe.
Well, come on now, Karen. You can't get credit for that. You don't pick up the phone because you black. And they're unrecognized numbers. You trying to act like it's something about scamming, but we all know black people don't pick up the phone for numbers we don't recognize. It is what it is, and it's always been that way. We don't pick up the phone if you call our house phone, and we just think it's not a time people supposed to be calling. We just be like, no, that must be a mistake. It's 4:30, you know. So you trying to get a little extra credit, but I hear you, buddy. I know you woke. I know you. You know, I'm not trying to take it away from you, but
I mean, I know I'm old and black, but I'm not the only person. It's other people that don't pick up the phone too.
Right, black people. But before the scam and stuff even started, you weren't picking up the phone for people.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Don't try to act like, oh, now that the scams is loose, I'm extra not picking up the phone. You can only not pick up the phone. You can't
not extra not picking up the phone.
You can't not pick it up twice. Subway is selling Subway. They selling the business. Somebody's buying it. Yes.
After they don't spend all that money to get the deli slices like Jersey Mike's.
They are, well, maybe that's why they're buying them. I don't know. But they are being bought. Who's buying them, Karen?
It's Big Arby's buying them.
Big Arby's. A drug.
Woo, we got the meats and not the subs.
A drug laundering.
Yes.
All right, then. I'll wait for you to get that.
That's hilarious.
A drug laundering organization would have money like that. I've never seen a line for Arby's. I've seen lines for Subway. I've been in a Subway before and been like, there's too many people in here. I'm leaving. I'm not waiting for Subway. That's ridiculous. It's not even good. But I have seen people eat Subway. I've eaten it myself.
I've Have been a long time.
Many people have hit that lunch and came back with that meatball sub, you know, and they just made it work. I've been in a Target and a Subway was in the Target and people was eating the Subway in the Target. Never seen the Arby's inside a Target, in a Walmart. Never seen that in a Kmart. Nah.
No, most Arby's are standalone.
And you'll be standing alone in line because ain't nobody buying that shit. Where are they getting the fucking money from? They done bought Buffalo Wild Wings. They just buying every goddamn thing. What is happening over there? I think we all know what's happening over there.
I wonder what he's gonna do today. I wonder what he's gonna do tomorrow. This guy just pissing. He's pissing all over us. He's pissing on you. What does it taste like? Chief, what does it taste like? Because you know what? It tastes like piss to me.
You know how much they buying them for? You want to guess? Did I already say?
No.
Okay.
Close to $1 billion.
Close to $1 billion? 9.6 billion. Where are they getting this fucking money?
9.6.
Where are they getting this fucking money?
The meats. I told you that's what they get their money from, the meats and the shakes.
I can't wait for the court case.
They're shaking them down.
I can't wait for this court case. They ain't getting the money for no meats and no shakes. I'm like, first of all, that doesn't even make sense to say they get the money from selling food. They're selling you Wagyu beef for $3.
Wagyu beef is expensive.
That's a loss. Every time they sell one of those burgers, it's at a loss. So how the fuck are they making money? It doesn't make sense. Can't wait for the court case.
Guilty. You're the one who's guilty. Lawmakers, the politicians, the Colombian drug lords, all you who lobby against making drugs legal, just like you did with alcohol during the Prohibition, you're the one who's guilty. I mean, come on, let's kick the ballistics here. Ain't no Uzis made in Harlem. I mean, not one of us in here owns a poppy field. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is big business.
That's what they're gonna be saying
This is big business.
during the class action lawsuit for the fact these motherfuckers are when Merrick Garland comes down on them after you get done with Trump. That's what we gonna be dealing with. that case.
That's crazy. They doing something because a lot of times I see like the celebrities and if you paying me, I'm taking your money too. But for Subway, they have like a lot of celebrities do the Subway commercials. So I'm like, y'all must be doing fine. They was like, nah, we got to sell
$9.6 billion to buy. I guess the only good news is if they spend that $9.6 billion to buy Subway, at least it won't go to 96 percentile rate to Republicans the way that they donate their money, so maybe in that way we won't have to worry about that's a couple dollars Ron DeSantis don't get, and we get a couple extra days of critical race theory in Florida till they overturn that shit. Let's see what else is happening. iPhone owners will soon be getting payments for Apple devices slowing because Apple slowed down devices in the past.
Yeah, they were slowing down on purpose.
Millions of Apple users with older iPhones can relate to having their phones come to a crawl or overheat when the new iOS update comes along. A lengthy court battle has concluded that Apple purposely slowed down devices with older batteries to prevent shutdowns. Unfortunately, most iPhone users were unaware of this process. Only customers with the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, or SE device were eligible if they ran the iOS 10.21 software or later version before December 21st, 2017. The same goes for people who had the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus and downloaded iOS 11.2 or later before December 21st, 2017. They'll dish out between $310 million and $500 million to settle nearly 3 million claims. I mean, that's a lot of claims. Multiple outlets have reported payments ranging from $65 to $90 for those who own pre-2018 devices. Of course, the deadline is already passed. That closed October 2020. So anyone unaware of the suit until now would not be compensated.
Yeah, and it's also, one of those things where people used to complain about that. And a lot of times, for most people, they would just get an upgrade because it was like, well, fuck it, my phone acting up. But the thing about the iPhones, for a lot of people, when they buy them, like a lot of Apple products, they last a while. So a lot of people go, ain't nothing fucking wrong with my phone. Like, why the fuck would I get rid of it? I'll just hold on to it because we've done that before. We'll skip like 2 or 3 generations will come out and we'll still have our same phone and it'll be functioning just fine. It'll be slow, but it'll be functioning just fine. And the thing is, because of the time and the age, for a lot of people who would probably qualify for it, no longer qualify for it because they no longer own these phones. They've upgraded and all types of things. Truthfully, I think this pool probably would have been bigger, at one period of time. But a lot of people are going, well, yeah, I'm outside of those phone ranges now.
I think also just I haven't experienced this too much because I normally upgrade my phone, but also if I have experienced it probably wasn't for long because it's annoying enough to make me upgrade my phone, which is right to me is the real point. Now they're saying Apple's argument is we slowed down your phones because with your processing power, if we just allowed it to continue to process at the right speed, your phone would run out of battery and overheat very quickly because the new iOS is demanding more. So that's their consumer argument of look, we weren't doing this to fuck you. We were actually doing this so that, and I mean, to some extent, I've noticed that too. After they stopped doing this, if you have an older phone and you update it to the new firmware and all this shit, the battery be gone. The battery just be out because it's okay, you can do some new shit that you couldn't do before, but your shit is old.
Drain it.
You wasn't designed to do all this, so your shit ain't gonna last long. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and I'm glad that people gonna get a little check from it. But yeah, if people are like me, they probably just upgraded their phones and they'll never really get that check.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right. The whole purpose was to, kind of force you to kind of upgrade because, yeah, like you said, they don't do that anymore. They don't slow it down anymore. So, yeah, if you have a certain level of phone with, maybe not the first one, second one, third one, but eventually you'll be like, well, goddamn, I just turned this bitch on halfway through the day. Why am I at 50%? But that's why, because they like, we're not slowing up the down no more, and we just gonna let it eat your shit up.
Right. But yeah, 1/4 of adult children are estranged from a parent.
That's a big number.
Yeah, man. 1 out of every 4 of us. More than 1/4 of young adults are estranged from one or both parents or have been, a finding that suggests a societal shift away from traditional bonds of family. Several recent studies, articles, and hot-selling books have hinted that young America is rejecting the biblical adage, honor thy mother and father, along with the attendant concept of compulsory kinship. Instead, young adults are picking who will populate their families. Okay.
I guess I have a question. When you mean estranged, do you mean like the child decided I'm not fucking with y'all no more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to an extent, I can see that. I can definitely see that because there was a period of time where I was kind of like that because you get frustrated, you get irritated, you get aggravated, you don't feel like you're heard, you feel like I understand parents' job is to raise you to be an adult, but it's very hard for a lot of parents not understand to. Parents always look at their child as a child no matter their age, and that becomes a problem once that child reaches a certain age and becomes an adult, and for a lot of parents, you'll never be quote unquote equal. Mm-hmm. And so for a lot of people, that's very irritating because they was like, well, bitch, I pay my own bills. I got my own kids now. I demand respect. And you have a lot of parents, they just will not give their children the respect that it don't matter if they earned it or not. They're an adult. So you, as a parent, you got to give them that respect, and you also have to let them go, and let them make choices of their own and things like that. And for a lot of parents, they're very parents can be manipulators, and people with good parents don't understand that piece of it. They always feel like something's wrong with you if you don't have this loving, caring, bonding.
Well, let me stop you right there. I have good parents, and I can understand how somebody can have fucked up relationships with their parents, and parents can be fucked up. Like, I don't think it's I have good parents, so you don't know what you're talking about. I think what I think a lot of that comes from is also people that got fucked up parents in denial about their parents and their relationship.
Agreed.
Being like, well, I deal with my parents being fucked up. Why can't you? So I don't think that's it varies per individual, but I don't think it's as simple as like, well, you had a good upbringing, so you just completely are like, fuck it. A lot of times I think my stuff, people's like fucked up parent stuff sits out to me harder. Cause I'll be like, oh no, like I can't imagine my parents doing that shit to me. And honestly, I wouldn't fucking deal with it. The other thing too is like parents don't really control their children. We always discuss this as if the children are all great. But some of these children is fucked up too. And it's like, the parent is estranged because the kid is fucked up. And it's like, so it's not like I think we like to discuss it as a power dynamic, but there becomes like an age, because we're talking about young adults, we're not talking about like 13-year-olds and shit.
Right.
There becomes an age where it's like maybe the adult your kid grew up to be is not the one that you thought they would be, and there's really not shit you can do about it. And parents deal with that guilt a lot. Sometimes putting themselves in some very like bad situations to try to like make up for, like, no, I'm not a bad parent. I love you. But you can have a kid that's a sociopath. You can have a kid that's manipulative. You can have a kid that has all kinds of issues. So I think it's not just, I don't think it's simple, but I do understand the way we frame it typically is the kid is right, something's wrong with the parents, and the kid has done what they needed to do.
Agreed. Yeah, and that could be other scenarios too. Yeah. Because like with me, it was one of those things where I made decisions. Like when we first got married, I didn't talk to my family for like a year and a half, almost 2. I had no forms of communications with them niggas whatsoever, and I love them very dearly. But I was going through my own thing, and I just did not want to be bothered. I had to process stuff. I had to go through things. I had to learn how to view the world with my own eyes and not view the world through what they wanted me to be. Because and for me, if we want to quote unquote get deeper about it, this is why I think it's very, very me personally, as somebody with no children, me personally, I think it's very strange how people can have unconditional love for children, but that same love sometimes does not extend to their significant other. It does not extend to their mates and their partners like other people. They feel like you're supposed to have this unconditional love for a child. But you know what? Children grow up and children become adults. And guess what? Adults are assholes. And so people fail to realize that they let you down. They disappoint you. And so your children can do the same thing. And so that's why I think it's very strange when it comes to this unconditional love can only go towards children, but it can't go towards another adult.
I think that, that's a bit of a tangent, but I think all love is conditional, even parents and kids. Like,
agreed.
It's all conditional. We just don't call it that shit. And there's a lot of trauma that happens between parents and kids because that's the closest relationship most people are ever going to have until probably ever, honestly. Even if you get like a romantic relationship at some point, it's, hopefully, it's close like that, but it's quite possible your parents will be the closest relationship just by happenstance, not because you want it to be, but because it's necessity. Like you have to suck my titty for milk. There's nothing you can do about it, like there's some bonding there. But I think a couple things I wanted to bring up. One, I think the internet and social media has changed a lot of stuff, because before it used to be you were relegated to the people you knew in town, the people. So your chosen family is like a smaller pool to choose from. And so what happens if you're a kid that's gay and your parents are super religious? You got to move to a whole nother city. You got to go to Atlanta to even find a family.
Right.
And how many of those kids don't ever do that? Don't make it out. Don't leave home, or just find a way to like be miserable where they are or whatever. Now people got options. So that's another reason you could become estranged and not want to deal with that shit. Cause you're like, hey man, I don't have to anymore. Even if you do stay home, you can find a social circle through the internet.
Yes.
So you can find that like chosen family and stuff. I mean, there's obviously pitfalls to being hyper online and making your digital connections. Like there can be some pitfalls with that, but at the same time, it's better than dealing with a parent that hates you for some shit that you can't control or don't want to deal with. So I can understand that as well. I think a lot of times, and of course, the typical case that you brought up of just, this person's abusive and I don't want to have contact with them.
Right.
Obviously that's always going to be a factor as well. It's not that I'm not dismissing it out of hand.
I agree.
But people have more options now. And I think we're seeing it displayed, but at the same time, we have an epidemic of loneliness.
Yes.
Meaning that people are still more isolated than ever. And I wonder about how much we're encouraged to cut people off without conflict resolution and to be #team petty and to be, my way or the highway. And I wonder how much that plays into this as well. Not to say it's a major factor but I can't help but wonder if it is a factor, because I feel like the message that we get so loudly now is one fuck up and you're fucking done. One misunderstanding and you're out of here. And you can never get right. Oh, you apologize? I don't give a fuck if you apologize. I'm mad, and everyone on the internet is telling me to stay mad, and everyone on social media is like, fuck them people. And I do wonder if like there's a cultural shift as well.
I can see that. And also it's one of those things where you kind of have generations all over the place. You have generations that are brought up, hey, we got to talk on the phone, or I got to see you face to face. Like let's hash this out. Versus a generation who's from the time they were born, things were already in place where they didn't have to have the social communications and the interaction with people like another generation would. So for them, the internet is everything. And that's why it's hard for people who was not wrapped up in the internet like that. For people that are older than Google, that are older than Amazon and Facebook, it's hard for that generation to understand a generation that's raised where everything from your cell phone to your computer, everything is designed in this box of isolation. Everything is, I look at the screen, this is my world. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody is connected to the internet. Everybody's online. You have a generation that grew up on Instagram.
Yeah.
They grew up on TikTok. They're growing up on these things. And so to them, the internet is a heavy influence, because think of you being a child and how you emotionally going through these things. Your mind isn't fully developed. You're experiencing all these intense things. When you're young, everything is fucking intense because you're experiencing them for the first time. So you have to have somebody there to help navigate you through this and help guide you through these emotions, so you don't, go to the extreme one way or the other. But when these mechanisms are in place and your child just has access to this free range of things, that they truly might not understand the consequences or the repercussions of how these things impact. And truthfully, adults don't know because we don't have enough studies on them.
Well, it's one of the things I think I've been saying about social media for a long time is, if you think about it, the tools to be good at social media are the same tools that we ascribe to a narcissist. And I mean that clinically, not like you're an asshole, I'm gonna call you a narcissist. I mean like the ability to block people, the ability to get flying monkeys and gang up on people, the ability to villainize people, to ostracize them, to form our own narratives in our head about stuff without really, to avoid conflict resolution, to denigrate people, to harass them. Like a lot of that stuff is how you get good at social media. You look at some of the most popular people on social media, a lot of them at one point at least contributed to that kind of behavior. So I could see how people could reflect that in their real life relationships too, where it's like, hey, I block everybody on social media that I don't agree with. I'm blocking you, uncle, or whatever. And so that's one part of it. But let's talk about the positives of it, because like I don't want to turn it into a completely negative thing. Part of this is also people seeking healthy relationships.
Yes.
And saying and putting up standards and boundaries, saying I'm not tolerating anything that's an unhealthy relationship.
Right.
So maybe for them and their peace of mind, they're like, I don't want that uncle who's homophobic or racist or whatever. I don't want that. I think there's a reason that in this study, 26% of people were estranged from their fathers, only 6% from their mothers.
Yeah, that speaks a lot to men. Like I'll just say like that speaks volume to men.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of, not all, but for a lot of women, they have a tendency to be more apt to want to fix and repair things and be like, okay, I fucked up, let's talk about it and things like that. When men, just the way, particularly cishet straight men, emotions, child, boo. And it's one of those things where unless they're willing to and raise their sons to actually tap into real emotions outside of anger and laughter, like that's kind of the two emotions you get. And sometimes not even fucking laughter, just anger, And so when shit go wrong, the parents don't have they don't have the skills, so they can't teach the child the skills. And I was raised up in a household where I didn't have those skills. I learned a lot of these skills as I got older, and also I think for a lot of people like me, you did not realize, if you're raised in certain households, you think the shit is normal. And once you go off to college, once you get out the house, once you start experiencing things, and people around you go, so that's the part that I think goes with something you said earlier. Now with social media, you can experience that without leaving the house. True.
You can see other people's families and how they resolve things. Once again, if you're interested in that,
right?
Because you can also, like I think two things are working at once, and we're having two thoughts that are, to me, both true, but not true for everyone in these groups.
Right.
One of them is a lot of stuff is Instagram influencers and like TikTok therapists telling you cut your parents off. You don't owe anybody anything. Fuck them. blah, blah, blah. And I can see how that could go dangerously wrong as well. You know, a lot of times, especially with the debt, like the debts that we have now where kids are on their parents' insurance until they're 26. Well, you're a fucking adult, man. You're on your parents' insurance. You're living in their house because you can't afford a house and all that stuff. So I can see how parents may feel like treating them like you're the enemy. You don't support every fucking thing I do, or you what? Fuck you, I'm out. I can see how that would make a parent be like, dog, what the fuck? Like, I don't have any say. Like, you're living under my roof now. This isn't like before when everyone got 21 and just moved the fuck out because you could afford rent, even on a like IHOP job. That shit ain't happening no more. No, motherfuckers have full 40-hour a week jobs, salary jobs, and they still might have to stay home because of student loans and how much the rent is, and all this type of shit. So I think some of these dynamics have changed societally that I can see how it wouldn't be as simple as just my parents don't support everything I do. Fuck them, you know. And of course, the internet's gonna tell you that. Fuck them. Fuck your parents. But also, I can see how people are going, the old ways are fucking dead. Just because I came out of your vagina, if you're fucking telling me every day I ain't shit, manipulating me, fucking up my self-esteem, hating every choice I make, I don't have to be here or talk to you or see you. You want to know how I'm doing? Log into Facebook and look at my pictures like everybody the fuck else, because this ain't working for me. So I can see both things happening at the same time without it. And I think that's the crux of this conversation is it both things can happen.
Yeah, and it can literally be a combination of both. Because as somebody who has went through a lot of these different scenarios, you know, and went through a lot of these situations, be it a parent that does not have good communication skills, a parent that does not understand nor is willing to learn or change when it comes to certain things, you know, because I talked to my mama today and she literally looks at me like I'm crazy, but I know what I'm saying is true and I know what I'm saying is right, but you could, because that's how of my convictions, you know, but for her, it's very strange and it's very odd. And, you know, she's of the generation and that there are people her age that are on the internet and things like that. But you're talking to a woman who doesn't have internet, Wi-Fi, anything at her house. So, you know, when I left, it was literally, that's it, you know, with no seeing me on Facebook, with no, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, she barely has a cell phone, just got a cell phone within the last maybe.
Yeah, I know, but you also were raised by your aunt who's older than just like a parent normally would be. So like say the difference between most people and their parents say it's like 20 to 25 years or so.
Okay.
You talk like that's why she doesn't have any of that technology. Right. Like if she was like 60, she probably would have that stuff because she would have been like 40 when that stuff was invented. It wouldn't have sounded crazy at all. But if you're like 60 when the cell phone is invented, it's like fuck that shit. I made it this far.
Yeah, she's like almost 90, so yes, that's a big difference.
I'm gonna tough this one out, you know.
I done made it this long. The fuck I need a cell phone for? We had to explain to her, you can't help me out here. I'm gonna go to the payphone. Mama, ain't no payphones. Like it was a hassle.
But someone said she might be entitled to a check called Apple. Yeah,
she might be. Shit.
Yeah, she might have the iPhone 6 now. I don't know. But yeah, I just think it's interesting because it's such an all-encompassing topic because every single case is different.
Right.
And individually, it's going to be different for everybody. But collectively, a fourth of adult children are not talking to their parents in a purposeful, estranged way. That says a lot, you know. I also wonder how much of that is the polarization we've experienced politically. Because it used to be a time where like, yeah, your parents are older than you, so they're a bit more conservative than you are, and you're more liberal than they are. And as you get older, you become more conservative normally, and your children are the ones that are like disappointed in your ass. And then the cycle goes forever, especially for white people. But the cycle goes forever. The cycle goes forever. But I wonder if what conservatism has turned into has made a lot of people be like, man, fuck that. Like this used to be okay when I thought. When the most liberal progressive talking point for marriage, for gay marriage, was like, oh, you can get a certificate. And you're like, yeah, okay, get a certificate. It's basically the same as a marriage. And that was like the most liberal mainstream position. And so the difference between that and like your conservative parents might have been like, well, as long as they can't get married, I guess that's fine if that's what they want to do. And you might find some middle ground in there where you're like, fuck it, man. I mean, shit, it's not even like the president is saying it. But once you get like Trump, everything is like a conservative parent, a Fox News watcher parent is living in a different reality than their kid if their kid isn't on that shit too. So once again, I think there's just a lot of this turned into like a very nebulous conversation. It's not very streamlined. There's a lot of things to say and not say, but it was a good thought exercise of just all the different factors I think that contribute to so much estrangement happening.
Yeah. And there are a lot of different things. Like you say, it could be things on the parent side, it could be things on the child side. And truth be told, a lot of times it's a little bit of both.
Right.
But people don't want to meet in the middle. But sometimes things are so egregious that on either side that I understand.
Yeah, I think that gender thing is right. Like you said, even in here they're talking about people don't really know their fathers. Your father's normally the stoic, quiet one that don't talk to you. He's not the one that calls you out the blue often. And, they're the ones that you sit and drink a beer and watch the game, but, don't normally talk to people about life. I'm lucked out. My dad's not really like that, but I know a lot of people whose daddies are like that. It's like a brooding presence that you're just afraid of when they come in the house. You're like, oh, he's mad. He's been working and shit.
Yeah. And also, all jokes aside, as somebody who never really had a male presence like that. It's one of those things when you start getting those male, particularly me as a quote unquote, I'm one of them free birds. People look at Roger like you let her do that, but it's one of the things where I'm kind of one of them free birds where sometimes I be forgetting when these grown men be talking and saying shit. Sometimes they be putting bass in their voice and shit, and I be looking, I be like, oh, you ain't talking to me, and I just go about my business because
I have no idea what you're referring to right now. What happened?
What
does this have to do with the fathers and the thing?
Because I'm talking about like you talking about that manly presence and how that manly presence.
Oh, the intimidating.
Type of thing, and how you can be afraid.
But people are putting bass in their voice talking to you or something? What's happening?
No, this happened years ago.
Oh, okay.
But like you would be like, and like I'd be like a family member's house, and like somebody would say something, and you could tell that he's
in that house. They rule the roost of through intimidation and fear.
And so for me, it would make me respond a certain way, but then I had to remember, I don't live in your household.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, okay, and I go about my way.
I wasn't joking. I was like, who the fuck was talking to you like that?
Oh no.
Am I gonna have to fuck somebody else? What just happened?
No. This was years ago when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
And so
we're on the same page now.
And so and like today, like the person I am today, it would be, that scenario would have been completely different.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I'm like I feel you. I think there's a lot of men that do that.
Yeah, like they purposely, and I've seen it in action where they purposely flex their muscles, they purposely raise their voice, they purposely demand shit, and it's like, dog, everybody in here got good ears and we can hear you.
Yeah,
like you don't have to show us how strong you are.
That a lot of people define masculinity in that way.
Correct,
and a lot of people want. Because we're all fucking influenced by it. People think that's what they want from a man too. That kind of a little bit toxic, whatever. But, and I mean, and once again, I don't want to vilify it. I know men that are like that are great, like they have that gruff exterior, but you ever need anything, they'll fucking, it's getting done,
right.
The motherfucker be in the driveway changing your oil and shit, and you be like, yeah, he don't really communicate well, but the oil is changed because motherfucking grass is cut. Like that's how he communicate, because the bills are paid. And I mean, if that's what you into, hey, more power to you. But I think that is also why there's a higher percentage of people estranged from their kids, because their kids is like, I didn't really know my dad when I was in the house. I'm grown and out the house. what do we have to talk about?
And a lot of times, you know what this estrangement means? They don't get to talk to their grandkids. They like they actually, when that child leaves, you actually lose a generation, and then the generations moving forward because there's no communication.
The moms, on the other hand, often have long simmering feuds over values, conflicting religious beliefs, or questionable life choices.
I can see that. Yeah.
So the mom thing seems to be, when you get estranged from a mom, it's a long process that doesn't have one big blowout fight. It's just a long process. And I know a lot of times girl children and their moms, you know, there's a love-hate type of relationship there, and a lot of times it can really go to hate for a while, especially as you get older and stuff. So yeah, I do. Anyway, this is a great study.
It is. And I think that sometimes a lot of people do not understand the mother-daughter relationship. That is a very unique and a very different relationship. And when you talk to the boys in the house, their relationship with their mom is completely different.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, because women do things differently than men. Men have a tendency, like I said before, boisterous and loud and intimidation and shit like that. Women slice with words, women slice with conduct, women slice in other ways. And it's one of those things that it could be very, very, as somebody who went through that, it could be very, very frustrating. It could be very irritating. And it's one of those things where studies have shown, you know who leaves the house first? Girls. Girls will pack their shit up and leave. And the boy, you know, it's been situations where boys have stayed a lot longer.
Well, also, I think and of course, we're being very cis heteronormative, all that stuff, you know, but just y'all understand.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, I think, with the girl children is because girls are conditioned and trained and taught at an early age to be this support system, and go be this support system for a man or somebody. Like, your goal is to get out of the house and get into baby making positions as fast as possible. And at the same time, women have experienced an explosion of autonomy and money and careers and equality, in quotes. And so now they have different lanes of opportunities that are open to them. So they're using those skills on themselves and being like, man, I'm just getting the fuck out of here, taking care of myself. And I don't need y'all to be negging me all the time. You know, I'd rather not be talking to y'all than to be feeling shitty about myself all the time. I think also because of social media and the ubiquitousness. I think that's right. And because of how much we proliferated our society with trauma, violence, emotional abuse, people now either have words to express what they felt, or they have words to turn misunderstandings into like damning attacks.
Yes.
And escalate the harm. So I don't know, like, it's different for different people. It's obviously individual, and I can see how a parent would feel like really gaslit, or speaking of words that people use too much, but I can see how, but I mean it in the technical, I can see how a parent would feel like, whoa, I was there for those experiences too. You know, you were doing this, and this, and my response was this, and this, and it was to help, and it was with the best intentions for you. And now you're telling me that this shit that I did, that's like what I learned and what I improved upon from my parents, you're telling me it's not good enough. And I think until the generation that is upset becomes parents of their own, and their children get old, and then they experience it, I feel like that's why you always see kind of like a coming together at a certain age of like parents and grandparents, where it's kind of like a, you know, oh, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah. And also, it's one of the things too, like you say, they come together, and also parents and children have these idealistic expectations of each party. You have parents who put their hopes and dreams and aspirations on their children, regardless of if their children ask for these or not. And when they don't live up to them, it becomes a disappointment and all these other things. And you have parents that always look at their child as a child. Then you have children who look at their parents as these superheroes and then are very sad and disappointed and hurt and which is valid, but you have to realize they're just human beings and people. And parents have to realize once a child gets to a certain age, they're just a human
their
being,
own person.
Right. So until both parties realize that everybody's a human being and everybody,
if they come to that,
and I think that's why a lot of these conflicts come in, because that's something that I had to go through on my own, and had to have understanding. And just because you have empathy, just because you have understanding, just because you have compassion, it does not excuse behavior. But at the same time, you can have a better understanding of your parents as a totality, as a human being.
I think that's one gift hopefully everybody gets. So you you get older.
Right.
And then when you get a certain age, you think about who your parents were at that age and what their responsibility was to you. And a lot of times it's like, oh, I see. Like you were just flying, you were making a plane as you were flying it. There's no instruction book. You don't fucking know. And, I've done way worse shit at 25 that, that was completely irresponsible, that luckily I didn't have any kids at the time. And a lot of people, the reason we didn't have kids is not even trauma related. It's literally just economics have changed so much in our lifetimes that by the time I'm 25, it's a different 25-year-old environment than the ones my parents might have experienced at 25, because the promises of America are not ever really fulfilled. So you got more people living alone than ever. You got people waiting longer to get married than ever, if they marry at all, and birth rates are down. So right there, those are three things that are not really a parent's fault. That's a societal issue. So, but it also is changing the way people interact between family, because if you're living alone, waiting longer to marry, if at all, and not having kids, the way you judge connections and family are going to change. Family is now who I choose.
Yeah.
Connections are what I make them. So I can see all that stuff.
Agreed.
All right. That was a fun conversation, I think. Got a little deep and philosophical, I think. And, I think it's time to move on out of there. Let's move on down to the reggae section and let's do a different segment. Let's see. Maybe we'll do some fucking with black people. All right. It's been it's a staple of the show. You love it. Let's do what's the song? There we go.
We're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them black people. We're just fucking with them blacks. We're just fucking with black people. Hey, hey,
let's see how they fucking with us today. Arkansas schools stand against State Department of Education will continue to offer AP African American Studies despite threats of defunding and discrediting.
Right. The fuck is this?
Some schools in Little Rock, North Little Rock, and Jonesboro are calling Arkansas Department of Education's bluff, saying they'll continue to offer AP African American Studies despite the threat that they will be defunded and discredited. Now, I can say this. I wouldn't put nothing past Republicans and conservatives. I think they absolutely will follow through on these threats to defund these schools because that's what they do. But I want to say how appreciative I am of these schools taking a fucking stand and putting something on the line, because honestly, that's a lesson those kids really will remember for the rest of their lives, regardless of what the Republicans end up doing, because it's out of goddamn control. And I'm tired of them being the only people that break the rules.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to be like, I don't give a fuck it's wrong. It's just a wrong thing to do.
Right.
And we're not going to tolerate that shit. So fuck y'all. Go get the National Guard and get you 12 white folks and take this shit to trial.
Right. That don't make sense. It's like, dog, like there hasn't been a problem. This shit we've been teaching this shit forever. And you gonna come in here and be like, no, don't be teaching no nigga shit. That's basically what you're saying. And once it goes there, you're gonna be like, don't teach no AP class for this, don't teach no AP class for that. Like it don't stop there, and you start attacking other shit with other cultures.
Here's what I wonder about. I don't live there, but the schools are Little Rock School District Central High School, North Little Rock High School, Jacksonville High, and academies at Jonesboro, as well as charter schools, North Little Rock Center for Excellence, and Esteem High School, have all confirmed they will offer the course and calculate grades on the same elevated 5-point GPA scale as other advanced placement classes.
Right.
Okay, here's what I wonder. That don't sound like every school in the state of Arkansas. I bet you those are where the black kids attend.
Yes.
And in that way, I feel even more fucked with, because I guarantee you a lot of these white schools turned their motherfucking books in and said, we ain't teaching that shit, rather than take a stand. Because white kids need to learn about the shit too.
Yes,
Black kids that go to majority white schools need to learn about it too. It's not just, if it's history, it's history. If it's American history. It's African American history, but American history is the real part of it. And they don't teach it in American history. They don't teach it in your civics class the way they should. So I bet you there's a ton of schools where they just bent over and said, fuck it. We been in the knee. Go ahead and take his shit. We might even agree. We don't want to teach the shit. And I think that's what makes me feel the most fucked with. Now, I don't live there, so I can't be sure of that, but it feel like that.
Yeah. It feel like that. They're going, no. And one of these things going, why should we strip this away from our student population? And these are AP classes, not all, but a lot of them would go on to college and shit like that. So, it's one of those things where you're going, no.
Yeah. Like someone said in the chat, I bet you some schools didn't even sign up to teach it. But yeah, Arkansas teachers who trained over the summer to qualify to teach the course received phone calls Friday from an education department official letting them know its decision, and only provided a statement that said in part the class is based on opinions or indoctrination, and said teaching it may even violate state law. Arkansas Education Secretary Jacob Oliva also threw out other reasons for the decision to not honor AP African American Studies, but those were slammed. Oliva left the job in DeSantis' Florida Department of Education to come to Arkansas. So yeah, it all makes sense. He's also police policy rewrites on locker rooms, pronouns, and other LGBTQ issues as required by Florida's Don't Say Gay law. Dracarys for me.
It's the same. It's very frustrating to see this, because the whole purpose is they want the populace stupid. They want the populace not to know. They want everybody, particularly when it comes to white children, they want them to believe the bullshit, the slaves were happy and all this stuff. And a lot of times what happens, history just ends up repeating itself. And so, not trying to be funny, this is how you have a generation where shit happen. Our generation be going, the fuck, why did y'all know this is gonna happen? And you have a whole generation like literally looking shocked and surprised because they don't know.
And I'm just more, I don't understand why you would want to take away this knowledge from white kids either. I mean, white kids can also grow up to be white people that believe this.
I'm sorry if people think that a white man can't enjoy Black history.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry if people think that a white man can't love Martin Luther King.
Right. But yeah, I think I took AP classes when I was in school, and honestly, I appreciated them. It was accelerated from the normal classes that I had, because I took a combination of both at some point, and then by my senior year, I was in like almost all AP classes. But my other kids don't know. Like when other people in my same school didn't learn stuff. So even the fact that this is an AP African American Studies is already a very small group of kids.
Right.
Like you're not talking about every kid in the school learning about African American Studies. You're talking about a handful of academically gifted, talented kids learning African. This is a fucking joke, But yeah, Dracarys to this bullshit. New FDA-approved preeclampsia blood test could reduce Black maternal deaths.
What's preeclampsia?
It's a deadly form of high blood pressure that could be fatal if left untreated.
Is it one of them things? Not trying to find it. That only affects pregnant people.
I don't know if it only affects pregnant people, but it impacts approximately 1 in every 25 pregnancies annually in the U.S.
That's a lot.
Black birthing people, however, are disproportionately at risk, considering a staggering 60% of preeclampsia-related deaths are deemed to be preventable. This blood test is a welcome and necessary development. Doctorate prepared board certified nurse midwife Dr. Chanel Sangu Joya, I believe that's right, explains that preeclampsia is characterized by high blood pressure that may result in multi-organ damage. Most commonly, the liver and kidneys are impacted. It usually occurs about after 20 weeks of pregnancy, but it can also begin in postpartum period. It can be fatal if not properly managed. Similar to high blood pressure in non-pregnant person, preeclampsia can be a silent condition. The earlier is diagnosed, the better. 0 for me. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's so sad is some of this shit should have already been in place, but it took I ain't trying to find it. Wouldn't be surprised a lot of black and brown doctors and shit and OGBYNs fighting for this. Like, they don't make these rules. Like, somebody probably been putting up a fucking fuss for decades, been doing fucking studies over and over and over and over and over again before they was like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, it's the shit that I think this almost killed Serena Williams. I remember her first pregnancy. Right. Oh, shout out to her. She had her second baby today.
She did.
Her and Alexis.
Today?
Yeah. Her and Alexis. Or she had the baby like a few days ago, but they announced it on like Instagram and stuff today. So congrats to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with Beyonce, I still remember like all the celeb gossip being this like she didn't even really have them babies. They just rented out a whole wing of the hospital for no reason. It's like, if I'm a black woman with unlimited resources, I'm having a child, I'm not trusting none of you regular motherfuckers. I'm sorry.
She probably picked her own doctors and everything.
Yeah, none of you motherfuckers, because too many of us are dying in fucking childbirth, and I'm not fucking taking the risk if I can change it. Y'all just now came out with the fucking blood pressure test. 60% of the deaths are black women or black birthing people, and here we go with this bullshit. We just now getting it, so yeah. Anyway, I love this. Obviously the history of it fucks with me, but not enough for me to say that this fucks with me. 0. Shout out to whoever worked on this, probably black people.
Chad, that's what right. Like, because we're gonna be the only ones that's gonna care and push this shit. Like, I've been pushing it for decades, and it kept being, not trying funny, denied by insurance company, denied by this, denied by that. It was like, look, y'all start covering this bullshit.
Right. So yeah, there you go. Did you say your score?
0.
Okay, we both gave 0s. All right. Look at this time. You know what? Let's do some let's do some guess the race. Might as well. We've been making some good time. Been having a good time. Party people in the place to be. Time for some guess the race. We're gonna find some guess the race music. Boom.
What time is it?
It's time.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, guess the race. Go around the globe, find different articles, guess the race of people involved. You know the drill. A woman lured a man into. Oh wait, can I play this article? Oh wait, it's only 27 seconds. Is that real? What the fuck, they song or something? All right. Looks like an ad is playing first. I guess I can try to play this. A woman lured a man into a fake Uber on Strip to rob him. The Strip, of course, being Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah. like the road.
Yeah, not like she made him strip. Although people do make you strip sometimes when they rob you, just make sure you ain't got nothing else on you. But let me see if I can play this for y'all.
A woman facing felony charges after allegedly luring an intoxicated man to a motel where he was robbed. The man left Horseshoe Las Vegas in what he thought was an Uber ride. A red sedan drove up to the pickup area, and 20-year-old Rejane Jones ushered the man into the vehicle. He was taken to a motel where two men pistol whipped him and stole his cell phone. Jones was arrested at a Starbucks, and her preliminary hearing is scheduled for January 29th.
Man, people love to pistol whip you. All right, Karen, guess the race.
Black, and yeah, pistol whipping ain't no joke. Guns hurt. The butt of them guns is heavy as shit.
You been pistol whipped a few times or something?
No, I've just heard.
You just sounded like you had some experience. Oh, so you did some pistol whipping. Okay. Listen, I'm still learning new stuff about you every day, baby.
I have not pistol whipped anybody, but you know, just from what people tell me, the shit sound like it hurt.
You kind of give off a pistol whipping vibe sometimes.
See, I don't own guns. That's the reason why.
Trey says black. Cardi B protege black. Tubi star black. Is that similar to movie star or Tubi star? Is that what we're calling them? Bet on black. I'm so black. I'll say BET on black. That's they didn't even spell it with all caps. My blackness just kicked in. Black. She's as black as her triple espresso and her Glock. Dang, she had preeclampsia with her first baby black.
Oh no!
God damn, Mimi. Autocorrect don't recognize the name, nigga. Black. Pats her weave with the pistol black. The correct answer is black. But that's the wrong one. Sorry, here you go.
Did they catch the other assailants?
I don't know. They just this is the only Rejane is the only picture they have. So you know, they must. I wonder if she rolled up his
stuff out.
Did she roll to pick him up with her hair like that? Did he hop in the Uber and didn't?
I doubt it.
I don't know.
She was on the strip, so nah.
Okay, well, good luck. You know, I'm glad they brought somebody to justice and stuff. That's good. All right, let's go to the next one. Cop arrested after allegedly throwing McDonald's cheeseburger at wife.
Oh no! Is this gonna turn to a minimum wage?
I guess he said we got McDonald's at home.
Yes,
and I'm throwing it at you.
McDonald's on you.
The latest McDonald's cheeseburger attack comes from South Florida, where a cop has been accused of throwing fast food at his wife during a violent confrontation at their home. I will say this. I had no idea until we started doing this show in this segment how much people are throwing food at people in their house, and then someone calls the cops and it's reported as domestic violence because it's actually technically assault.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that because I am downplaying the significance of it. It's just all of everything I just said never crossed my mind because none of it's ever happened to me.
Right.
Like I've never been like having an argument and then like someone threw some food at me and then I went, I gotta get the cops involved in this shit. I'm not saying any of it's unreasonable.
I've never had angrily food thrown at me.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm so big. I'm like, I'm not throwing.
Why are we wasting food?
Why would I hit you with delicious food?
Right.
You don't deserve that. If anything,
no,
I'm mad.
That's an insult to the food. What is happening here?
Not a lot of articles about people throwing like a plate or a cup.
Right.
That make more sense than the food, but that's just me. I digress. His name, okay. Investigators allege that an irate Andres Perez, 34, and his spouse have been arguing about financial and infidelity issues. Okay, pick a lane.
We can't be both now.
Pick a struggle. Okay, if you're gonna be out here,
you want me to get that?
No. Okay. If you're gonna be out here broke, don't be cheating. And if you're gonna be out here cheating, don't be broke.
Right?
Pick a struggle, sir. When the lawman stormed into the kitchen in his wife's direction, throwing a McDonald's cheeseburger at her. That's why she was mad. She's like, we eating McDonald's cheeseburgers. How much money are you spending on these other hoes?
I bet you them. I bet you them hoes didn't get no McDonald's.
I'm supposed to be getting the filet mignon, and they supposed to be getting the number 5.
Come on.
You giving me you doing this all backwards, player.
They supposed to be getting the 2 for $5, not me.
I'm getting like they supposed to be like, oh, he splurged for extra cheese because he loved me. Every February 15th we go on a date. You know, that's how she's supposed to be. I'm the one getting the McDonald's. The victim told
she's the one that's supposed to be getting the 30% upgrade.
The
on the
victim,
soda.
the victim told police that Perez then struck her with a closed fist. Okay, that's not. To the right side of the head behind the ear during the incident. You know, cops do be abusive.
You know what?
A lot of domestic violence.
You know what they said statistically? They said
Mhm.
cops, and they said that's one reason why, and I kind of believe them. There was like one reason why they won't pass some heavier, sometimes domestic violent laws.
Because cops be doing it.
Right.
Message.
Right. And it was like there was like too many cops would like lose their jobs and shit like that.
And if they do it to the ones they love, what you think they doing to the rest of us?
Right.
Okay, wake up, America.
Message.
Perez and the woman have been in a relationship about 8 years. They've been married for 3 years total. They do share kids in common. Charges were misdemeanor battery. He was booked in county jail. He bonded out and is an officer with the Miami-Dade Police Department, which is, how do he get to come back to work? That's weird. Like you supposed to serve and protect. You beat somebody up and threw a cheeseburger at them. You just come to work on Monday like crazy weekend. What? You know, they don't let the motherfuckers that get caught sneaking into the movie theaters work at the movie theaters. You know what I mean?
Like right now, don't make sense.
There's no other job like this.
No other.
All right, guess the race.
Well, I'm assuming white.
Okay, you assuming.
What was the names?
Andres Perez.
Oh, Latino Mexican.
Okay, all right, there we go. Let's check chat room, see what they believe. Angry little Mexican, McDonald's rage, spicy Latino. His ass didn't even buy a quarter pounder, broke ass Hispanic. Jesus. I asked for a tacos Maria.
Oh no!
Asked for tacos Maria Hispanic. Okay. The correct answer is Latinx. Some of the answers came in late. Well, someone said Officer McBitches.
That's hilarious.
That's 10 out of 10. You got the McDonald's in there. You got the bitches. That's 10 out of 10. That's great. No, we can't make that the title of the show, Karen.
I was about to say, can we make that
Apple won't accept that.
We put
your pencil down.
stars.
Put your pen down. Officer Miss McBitches.
Well, that's a great title.
Berea cop. Officer Mick abuse on the job. That's a stretch, but I liked it. Jalapeno on the burger, Latino. Lucha Libre on the wife, Latino. Mexi, Shaki. Okay. Oh my God. That's good stuff, y'all. Y'all are bringing the racism today. Let's go to the final round. Karen's 2 for 2.
Yay!
That bitch was white! I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get the
Gold
race.
teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big dive, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree.
Think they're gonna let us play this in night theater live?
Yeah, probably will.
Because I don't think we had this last time, and I'm looking forward to a theater full of people that may never even heard of our show.
The usher's going.
I thought the bitch was white.
Usher's going.
Racist.
What the hell did I sign up for when I volunteered this night?
Just call them niggas. They were like, they won't be coming back next year. Burger King gave candy to a worker who never called in sick.
Like Halloween candy?
And then the internet gave that person $400,000. Burger King cook and cashier Kevin Ford was happy to receive a small goodie bag from management as a reward for never calling in sick, but people on the internet were less thrilled. They believe Ford deserved more, over $400,000 more. Last May, Ford was given a coffee cup, a movie ticket, some candy, and a few other small items for working over 20 years at Burger King without ever using a sick day.
Nigga don't even get a plaque.
Yeah, I was happy to get this because I know not everyone gets something, said Ford, who works at the Burger King and Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas. He's a big believer in appreciating small gestures in life. He showed off the goodie bag on TikTok. The video went viral partially because people were outraged.
Right, 20, that's a long time.
Many people respected his work ethic and positive attitude. They also argue he deserved more than a bag of treats. That led to his daughter, Serena, to start a GoFundMe campaign last June in hopes of raising some money for her father to visit his grandchildren in Texas. She set a goal of $200. Over the next year, the campaign amassed over $400,000 in donations, while people flooded his inbox with messages about how he reminded them of their own father, brother, or friend.
Aww.
I think they just wanted to show my employer and other CEOs that people deserve to be congratulated, rewarded, even just acknowledged for their hard work and dedication. And of course, you don't get paid for sick leave when you work in most restaurants. You don't even get sick
leave. I'm about to say, do you even get insurance through them? Right.
Yeah, so you don't get paid sick leave. You just you can not work.
Right.
Because they don't want you to necessarily work when you're sick. Just because people get sick, other
they ain't
people
gonna pay you though.
Yeah. So workers typically do not get paid for missing work due to illness unless they dip into their paid vacation time. Ford said he only ever missed work for medical reasons twice in his Burger King career. Once for a surgery related to sleep apnea, another for a spine procedure caused by working long hours on his feet. Even then, he uses vacation days to take the time off.
Child, you won't give me some motherfucking candy.
I'd be laying down in front of the fryers because I was in so much pain and people would tell me to go home, but I was thinking about the power bill or the water bill. Right. I love that he's not like, I was thinking about Mr. Burger King getting him. He's like, man, this is what I have to do to survive. And then people wonder why over the pandemic, motherfuckers was like, I'm tired, I'm out.
And me and Roger was talking about this one Sunday about how like a lot of your favorite places be shutting down early now. Like it to the point now, before you can walk into somewhere like 15 minutes before they close, they was more than happy to take you. Now 30 minutes shit, some of them an hour before they close, they start shutting them DoorDash apps down. They start closing the kitchen. They'll be like, no, we are not open. We ready to get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this stuff has changed is people realize how transactional it was. People are worse to wait on after the pandemic. The restaurants are less staffed. People were able to find all kinds of different work. And of course, a lot of people are just dead or have long COVID. Like there's a bunch of reasons for this. Ford had deep regrets about how often he worked despite the overwhelming support. He said he went on his new platform to warn people, don't be like me. His job was not worth the heavy toll on his body and mental health, he said. It was also difficult for his 4 daughters who often saw him come home for work after 10 p.m. He said he learned that lesson the hard way. Before he went viral on social media, he said he was at the lowest point in his life. He was dealing with a divorce, the death of his parents, and the departure of his children, who had grown up and moved away. After work, Ford would drive for hours around his neighborhood, reflecting on his life and what he would have done differently. There was nothing but work in my life. Looking back, what was it all for? Why was I not missing days I could have spent with my kids and my wife? Right. That's why I'm not saying we're the greatest podcasters in the world, but this coming full circle with the estranged father-parent thing it's like I planned it. I didn't, but damn. That's why Ford had described the fundraiser as a second chance. Not only does he have enough money for his retirement and help pay for his grandchildren's college educations, but he can also afford to take days off work and make up for lost time with his children. He plans to keep working at Burger King largely because he likes his coworkers. That's also my family there. We're fun and funny. And when it's not like that, then I guess I'll retire. All right. Wow. I know one thing. I'll be acting different with that $400K in my pocket at Burger King. You know what I mean? I'm going to be a little late. I know y'all said I need to get here at 4, but I felt like I come in about 5:15. I mean, what y'all going to do? You know?
And
I'm having it my way, bitch.
Burger King, I'm the king.
I'm the Burger King up in. I'll be wearing that crown they give for birthday parties and shit.
I have it all slanted and shit.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, people, because it's fast food, a lot of people have a lot of compassion, but just American workers across the board have this same mentality, just in a different way. Just that shit is real. It's like, dog, you done worked all this time. And a lot of times people do lose spouses because spouses go, I didn't marry the job, I married you.
For us to have a reputation of being lazy and shit, we're probably one of the most overworked societies in period.
Most
capitalism
stress.
is run amok, and you look at so many other first world, I hate that term, but you know what I mean. You look at so many other these countries out here, and they look at us like, are y'all fucking stupid? Like,
right?
What you mean y'all ain't getting like a week of vacation every month? What you mean y'all don't get siestas? What you mean y'all don't have no work-life balance? Why are you working 40 hours a week? Wait, 5 days? Like, it's a bunch of countries that don't do it like us. But let's get to the race. Karen, guess the race.
I'm going black.
All right, check the chat room. He got a favorite Negro spiritual in rotation, black. The manager was white. The worker was black. Thinking about the power bill, he said light bill, I would be more short. Black people do love saying like the lights.
Because
like,
that's what they are. They're all the lights.
Nah, it's the air conditioning. There's a bunch of shit in this house I need to work, but it'd be like, you ain't paid a light bill? Like the light bill.
And that's all encoupasing of everything.
Yeah, I'm like, no. The TV bill, the fan bill,
all
the
of
AC
the
bill.
light.
Let's see. Snickers for 2 decades of perfect attendance. This is America. Black. Woo! Black trained to be responsible even to his detriment. As long as you got testing and ginger ale, you don't need no sick days. Black.
Oh no, and some crackers.
They abused that man's kindness. Black, and a Burger King. Black. Too strong not to be black. All right, the correct answer is he was John Henry Black. Honestly, the most emotional and cool part of that is the idea of having a second chance to be more present in his kids' lives. I was honestly rooting for the end of this article to be like, he quit Burger King, said suck my dick. But you know,
that's what I was looking forward to too.
But I'm not gonna lie, man. Like when I worked in restaurants, as much as there were low times, it was also one of the most rewarding jobs because you get instant feedback on if you did good or bad. You meet people, you talk to them. Your coworkers are normally in that environment some of the like cooler people to work with because y'all all are kind of in the same like mentality or whatever of
right.
Just, it's not like a desk job where everything's like buttoned up and super professional. We weren't eating pussy bananas, but we had some good times. But yeah, there was something about that job, that kind of job, that if there was a world where you could literally get paid what you were worth in that field, I bet a lot of people would do that job. If it was like, actually, we are going to pay you, we're going to give you vacation and like treat you like a real person to respect, there'd be a lot of people in the food industry, but they don't do that.
Right. And get rid of tipping and all that shit. I know a lot of times, even a lot of the servers are against getting rid of tip. And I was like, no, just pay you what you want.
Other than game theory, I've never had a job with better coworkers than restaurant. Because it's always just, it's more casual and honestly a more fun environment.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it can get fucked up like any job, but
right.
In general, I prefer those people to a lot of corporate buttoned up shit. All right. Sword ratchet this time, wrap it up. Longest 23 seconds in the podcast every time.
Ain't it though?
A 58-year-old man who police say suffers from a vision problem entered the wrong apartment in Olympia and was hit by a sword.
Oh shit.
That's why you wear glasses. Y'all out here just, I can see fine. I don't even know. They make me look funny.
Go get your eyes
Now you're going to walk
checked.
into the wrong apartment. Next thing you know, you on the hibachi menu. No one is in custody.
How's nobody in custody? Don't you know who lived there?
But possible charges of first-degree assault have been referred to the prosecutor's office for review. Yeah, because they're going to say it's self-defense. You walked into my apartment. I pulled out a sword to protect myself. And we don't take swords seriously. Police were dispatched to a second-floor apartment after a report of a burglary. The 911 caller said a man entered their apartment and was screaming at them. They shouted back. I can't imagine the Mr. Magoo ass fight that was. You can't see.
Right. Oh, he probably was in there like Mr. Magoo.
Yeah. He's like, why are you in my apartment? It's like, this ain't your apartment. Police later determined the apartment was occupied by 3 adults and 2 children. They were watching TV. The man suddenly entered the unit. I'm assuming white. They didn't lock the door. Fearing for their children, the adults grabbed one of the decorative swords from the wall of the apartment, and one of them hit the man in the arm with it. Well, cool. That won't fuck those kids up ever. The man left the apartment, was found nearby with a large amount of blood coming from his arm. The injury required stitches. After talking to the man, they learned he suffers from glaucoma. And they found a plastic bag attached to his hip that contained magnifying glasses. And they learned that he lives in an apartment on the same street in a building with a similar appearance in an apartment on the second floor. The swords were booked in the evidence.
What? What you say? Wear your glasses. He didn't have his glasses on. He'd have been at the right spot at the right time.
There you go. All right, y'all. Don't forget to come to our live show.
Yay!
And don't forget, oh shit, I should have said this earlier. You know what? I'll go back later and insert it in as an ad. To do the live read, which is my bad. But don't forget to support our sponsor that y'all didn't hear live, but we'll hear when you hear this podcast everywhere else. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read the copy again just in case.
Yes, go ahead.
If you love space adventures, retro gaming, and mind-blowing artwork, check out Joystick Angels by Ray Comics. Meet 5-skill cadet pilots Deuce, Tank, Legs, Dragon Nettie, and their leader Fox. Train their whole lives to confront an evil alien force that ravaged Earth. They're now facing the ultimate test. Are they truly prepared? Joystick Angels are from the minds of writer, artist, Ray Comics CEO TJ Sterling, music producer, and composer Spencer Sterling. The siblings are raising money for issues 2 and 3, and the Kickstarter is packed with perks, including Ray Comics' completed flagship series, Okimus. Okimus' Dark History and Shattered Visions, along with a Joystick Angel soundtrack composed by Spencer. Support indie comics and embrace this colorful young adult adventure while uplifting indie Black creators. The Kickstarter is live until September 22nd. Contribute now. Find the link in the show notes to support. All right, y'all, that's it. We'll be back maybe tomorrow. If not, see you Saturday.
Yes.
Ballsy Sports is supposed to be Thursday. Nerd Off is Fridays, which is why I might take tomorrow off because Daddy gotta have a life too. Okay. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you later. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace.